Hi, welcome to a little training on sleep and muscle growth connection. I want to start by talking about why this is important. So, you can't recover and achieve results without proper sleep, regeneration, and recovery. Your mind, muscles, and most systems in the body are going to benefit from proper rest. So, what's covered in this training? We're going to talk about why sleep matters, what sleep cycles are, how your muscles grow while you sleep, the sleep cycle that aids the most in muscle repair, and tips to improve your sleep habits. So let's dig right in. Sleep is one of the main factors on whether all of the hard work you're doing in the gym is going to result in increased muscle development and results, or either getting no progress at all, or maybe even overtraining. So it's also one of the main factors that determine whether your weight loss or body fat reduction program is going to produce the results you're trying so hard to achieve. Right? We don't want to work that hard and not get the results we're looking for just because we're not getting the proper amount of sleep. Stress levels can also be affected by sleep. We're going to cover stress and stress reduction techniques in a future training. There's a lot of overlap here, though, so they are related to each other. So, according to research, poor sleep quality and sleep duration is associated with an increased risk for muscle mass reduction, and it can also influence how strong you are, okay? The amount of muscle that you have in your body. There is also a connection between a higher rate of physical activity and better sleep quality as well. So you can look at this as a full circle effect, making exercise and sleep two practices that seem to result in a beautiful symbiotic relationship. So we really want to understand this connection by exploring the different stages of sleep. So let's talk about what sleep cycles are. Each night when you sleep, you go through several rounds of a sleep cycle. And within each of those sleep cycles, there are four stages. Okay. You're typically going to go through 4 to 6 of these cycles a night. They're not always the same length, but they do average about 90 minutes each. So, according to research, there are four sleep stages, and one of them is rapid eye movement, or REM, and three of them are for non rapid eye movement, or we'll call it non REM. So the first thing we're going to dig into is the non-REM sleep patterns. So there are three stages of non-REM sleep patterns. The first one is falling asleep stage, usually lasts between 1 and 5 minutes. You're not fully asleep, your brain function slows down, you start twitching, and you can just ask my boyfriend because I do this every night as I'm falling asleep. And these are where you see the first changes in your brain activity. Then you have stage two. So you're a little deeper here, okay? You've got a subdued state, there's a drop in your temperature, your muscles relax, your breathing slows, your heart rate slows, your eye movement stops. You do have short bursts of brain activity, but these are mainly here to help you ignore external stimuli like the noises that you may hear outside, and it'll help you stay asleep. And then we have stage three. This is your deep sleep stage. Okay. This is where muscle tone, pulse, and breathing all decrease. And this is where all the recovery and growth happens. Okay. So this is not only about recovery and growth, but it also helps the immune system work at an increased level. So if you're not feeling well, getting good sleep is only going to aid in the process to get you back to how you were feeling before you got sick. We spend most of our time here at the beginning of the night, and then these stages actually get shorter during each sleep cycle. Okay. So the closer we get to that 7 to 8 hours, the shorter that third sleep cycle of non REM is. Then we have REM sleep patterns. Okay. This is rapid eye movement, if you remember from earlier. So this is where your brain activity rises to almost awake levels. You have temporary paralysis of the muscles, except for the eyes and the breathing. Okay. So you have rapid eye movement and your breathing needs to keep going, right? So these stages are essential to cognitive functions, and this is where you actually experience most of those vivid dreams that you remember sometimes when you wake up. That being said, dreams can actually occur in any sleep stage, but they are less common. So REM does get longer towards the end of each sleep cycle, and it ends up being about 25% of your sleep for most adults. So also notice how your deep sleep, your non-REM, gets shorter with each cycle. And that's mainly the point of throwing this chart in here. So you can just see how those REM sleeps get longer and the deeper stages of sleep get shorter as you get closer to that 6, 7, 8 hour mark of sleep. So non-REM stage three is where muscle recovery happens. So according to studies conducted by the National Library of Medicine, sleep quality is positively associated with muscle strength, and short sleep duration was associated with reduced muscle strength, right? So we want to remember that increasing muscle strength is also going to increase muscle fibers, which is going to increase your metabolism. And when you have a higher metabolism, you can eat more, or you can lose more weight, depending on what you're going for. So why does this work? How does it actually produce more muscle recovery? Okay, according to further research done by doctors at the University of Texas, sleep results in energy conservation and body cell restoration. This is going to result in reduced fatigue or tiredness. So, as you sleep, your body is going to produce growth hormones, and these growth hormones are going to help you build muscle. Growth hormone is released during stage 3 of the non REM sleep, which is considered to be your deepest stage of sleep. So it's as simple as that. Our hormones are important for sparking processes our bodies need to build muscle cells. And when we put stress on our muscle cells during workouts, we create micro tears in the tissue. Your body then knows that that area needs more muscle cells to support the amount of exertion being applied to that muscle on a regular basis. So when you sleep, your body has the ability to repair those muscles so you get stronger and avoid overtraining. And just know that overtraining is just a condition where your body doesn't have the opportunity to repair the muscles. And if you keep overtraining, okay, it can lead to tearing or injury. So we want to make sure that we are giving our body the required rest that it needs. So if you don't sleep a minimum of 7 hours, your body's going to overproduce other hormones that make you hungrier, and it's going to reduce the production of hormones that make you satiated. Okay, and those hormones are listed right over here if you're a science nerd like me and you're curious what they're called. So voila, less sleep equals increased weight, body fat, and a reduction in muscle mass. No, thank you. That's not what we're looking for here. So in order to avoid that, let's talk about a few tips to help improve your sleep habits. The first thing you can do is wind down before bed. Personally, my iPhone notifies me about 15 minutes before bedtime that it's time to wrap up. You can get sleep time to go on automatically if you do it in the new focus settings on the new iPhone operating software. Also, meditate before bed. So a quick 10 to 15 minutes of silencing the brain is really going to put you in the mood to get some shut eye. And this can be what you do when you get that notification on your iPhone 15 minutes before you go to bed. Another thing you do is force yourself to bed just 15 minutes earlier. So if you're somebody who's only getting like 5 hours of sleep a night, it's going to be a big change to try to go to bed an hour or 2 hours earlier. What you can do is you can start building on 15-minute blocks. So go to bed 15 minutes earlier than you're used to. Then, when you start to develop that habit and you're automatically going to bed 15 minutes earlier, go ahead and add another 15. Small changes are going to equal big results. And if you keep putting these building blocks together, eventually you're going to get up to a point where you're getting that required amount of sleep to give your body the rest and recovery that it needs. Also, stay on a routine. So, same bed and wake time every day, or at least Monday through Friday. I know this is difficult for some of us that do not have 9 to 5 jobs or regular hours, but do your absolute best here because being on a routine is really going to get your mind to stay focused on your sleeping habits. Lower the temperature to 68 to 69 degrees. All right, so your body actually begins to drop in temperature right before you fall asleep. During sleep, your core temperature is actually reduced by 1 or 2 degrees. So making it colder in the room is going to help you drop that level faster and hopefully help you fall asleep. I have a problem with this one, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. Lower your caffeine consumption in the second half of the day. We make afternoon coffee at my house, and I'm not sure that's actually the best idea. But if you can get that caffeine out of your system in the second half of the day, it's going to help you fall asleep a little easier. Also, along the same lines, you're going to keep heavy and fatty food to a minimum at the end of the day because these can cause acid reflux, which leads to discomfort. And if you're not comfortable, you're not going to fall asleep. Alcohol, I mean, it feels like we're tired when we drink and we can fall asleep easier, but your sleep actually ends up being fragmented and you're not getting the proper sleep cycles. So it does no good for your body. So cut down on the alcohol, especially during the week, especially after a workout. And then the last thing you can do here is turn off your electronics. Don't surf Instagram right before you go to bed. This is just going to change the way that your mind is working, right? So instead of winding down, you're actually winding back up, and it's going to be harder to fall asleep. I say see numbers 1 and 2 because it's all about that wind down and that meditation before bed. All right, my friends, hopefully we're shooting for something that looks like this character right here, getting all the sleep that we can, getting all the recovery that our bodies need so that we can develop that muscle growth, increase our metabolism, and really start to achieve our goals. As always, you can message me back with any questions. I hope that this helped, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next training.